Today I'm teaching you how to make a delicious strawberry margarita because today it's 95 degrees outside, it's sweltering, and we all need something refreshing to drink. If you stick around to the very end, I will explain why this recipe works as well as some fundamentals for creating balance in your cocktails at home. Welcome to another episode of Natalia Con Gusto. It's my pleasure to be here with you once again, demystifying cocktails, spirits, and ingredients so that you can make better cocktails at home. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit that like button because it does help others find this content. Additionally, hit subscribe so that you can see all upcoming videos. By far, the most prominent request I get is for margarita recipes, a batched one at that, which is what I will be demonstrating today. For this recipe, you'll need 4 ingredients. You need a top shelf tequila, Cointreau triple sec. Truly, it's the best one for a margarita. You need agave nectar and freshly squeezed lime juice. Because this week, my husband and I are staying with my parents, we will need a batched margarita recipe because tonight, we all want cocktails. First thing I'll need to do is to calculate a single recipe, 1.5 ounces of Blanco tequila, Don Fulano in this case, 3/4 of an ounce of Cointreau triple sec, 1/4 of an ounce of agave nectar, and 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. That right there is going to create a perfectly balanced margarita recipe. And if tonight you're just making a cocktail for yourself, go with that recipe. Trust me, it will be delicious. If you want to take it a step further, like I'm going to be doing tonight, I will be adding a little bit of my mom's strawberry shrub. In one of the episodes, I taught everyone how to make a shrub, and my mom took me up on that. So she did make a strawberry shrub, and it's delicious. I would like to incorporate it into this cocktail to make a strawberry margarita. And for that, I will add 1/2 ounce of the strawberry shrub. If you're making a batch like I am, you'll want to know ahead of time how many servings you want to make. There's 4 of us tonight. I want 1 cocktail, my mom wants 1 cocktail, my husband will have 2, and my dad will have 2. For tonight, I'm making 6 servings, which means that I will multiply all those ingredients that I mentioned by 6. For this batch, in that case, I will need 4.5 ounces of freshly squeezed lime, which I've already done. I'll add it to my pitcher here. You'll notice that I'm putting in my least expensive ingredients first. That's because in case I mess up, I don't have to throw out my beautiful tequila. I just have to throw out maybe agave nectar and lime juice. I'm not gonna mess up here, but just in case, that's what I recommend you do. If you don't have a jigger, this tiny measuring cup is one of my all-time favorite measuring tools because it has ounces on one side and tablespoons on another. And not only that, you can find this at Target. It's by OXO. I love it. I use it all the time. Next, I need 4.5 ounces of Cointreau triple sec. Finally, we need 9 ounces of Don Fulano tequila. If you're not adding a shrub like I'm about to do, then this is it. This is your margarita. It's just about ready to go. You will need to pre-dilute it, which means adding some water to it. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But as far as ingredients goes, this is all you need. In my case, because I'm adding shrub, I will add 3 ounces to this margarita. This drink is just about ready to go, but there's a couple components that are still missing. In a bar, you'll notice that a bartender shakes a margarita, which does 2 things. It chills and it dilutes it. This is currently not chilled and it is currently not diluted. We need to do both. To dilute it, I'm just going to add water directly into the batch. How do I know how much to add? Well, usually the amount of water that gets added after shaking is 1/4 of the total volume of the cocktail. We still have a couple hours before we'll drink this tonight. I can leave it as is and put it directly into my fridge. When I'm ready to serve, I'll simply put ice into a glass and pour directly on top and it'll be ready to go. Oh good, you made it to the very end. Now for why this recipe works. I've looked online, I've looked at other YouTube videos, and I've looked at other websites for margarita recipes, and there are so many. I completely understand why it can be confusing. The reason why this recipe works is because we have a perfect balance between our sweet components and our sour components. Aside from the quality of the tequila that we're using, that is the most important part of creating a balanced margarita. It's easier to think about balance in a cocktail between sweet and sour by looking at a seesaw. Take my arm and imagine it's the seesaw. If you have sour on one side, you need to evenly balance that out with a sweet component until it's perfectly balanced. In this cocktail, we have 3/4 of an ounce of our lime juice balanced with 3/4 of an ounce of Cointreau. The important thing about Cointreau is that it has the least amount of sugar of any triple sec on the market, which I think is a terrific quality to have. The reason why I added to this cocktail 1/4 of an ounce of agave nectar is because there wasn't as much sweetness to balance out the lime juice, so I added just a teeny bit more agave nectar. If I'm adding an additional component, like the strawberry shrub, that already has a sour coming from vinegar and a sweet component coming from fruit, if that's already balanced, I can just add that directly on top of the cocktail without worrying too much about the lime or the Cointreau agave being thrown off. Because the shrub is already balanced, I can just add that on top almost in whatever increments I want. I could have done 3/4 of an ounce or 1/4 of an ounce of the shrub, and the cocktail still would have tasted just fine. There you have it. I hope you enjoy your margaritas at home. I know I'm going to enjoy mine. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.